So today I'm gonna help you go from a disheveled beggar all the way to the Baron instead. And by the end of this video, the game is gonna become a total breeze to go through. Cause the tech I found after putting a couple more hours into the game, it's just a couple, well, it's absolutely game changing. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into it. Starting off with the first stage, there's only two modes you should play. You either play the Carnage mode, which is the usual day in London, or Fist Fight, which is the usual line in Waffle House. And just don't worry about the third mode. It is absolutely horrible. For this stage and boss, the only thing you need to know is the right way to use the knife, because a lot of people slash with it instead of stabbing, which is 10 times better. Alright, this is a proper way to use the knife. You do not want to two-hand the knife, you want to hold it like this. You want to one-hand it. And then you're going to do this rubber movement, which is done by holding Shift and Alt. So when you're about to stab somebody, you want to hold Shift, Alt, A, and W. And then right after you stab, you want to switch to holding Shift, Alt, A, and S, which will cause this rubber movement. Now for the first boss, there are two ways you can get him. You can either get lucky and get the Chandelier, which is the best weapon in the game. When you pick up the Chandelier, you want to hold it to your left, and then jerk your mouse to the right as soon as the boss gets close to you. Or the other way, where you go around the boss from the beginning and grab the knife that's in the middle, which spawns there every single time. And then all you do is you bait out one attack, and you do the same thing you were doing in the Carnage mode. These next two stages are what I call the run killers, because the bosses in these two stages are just so hard for no reason. So the only viable weapon that I found was the pitchfork, and it's amazing, and using it is quite simple as well. All you have to do is just hold left click and keep your mouse to the right. And when the opponent is in range, you just click Alt and it's gonna stab him. Every single time. It just works. Now this might be the dumbest way to kill a boss, but trust me, it just works. I don't know why, but they just don't attack you. You get them every single time. All you do is just look down at the floor, and when you get close to the boss, you press F to adjust your pitchfork and you just stab him. Just like that. Although sometimes you could do something wacky like throwing up his stick, but in that case, you just spin around like crazy, and you'll still manage to somehow poke him. Now you're gonna continue using the pitchfork because it's the best weapon you can use right now, and you're gonna get an extra point for the whole stage before the boss battle. Now here comes the hardest boss in the game. I do not know why they put him this early in the Gauntlet. He just throws so many sporadic attacks which are so unpredictable. But I think I found a pretty consistent way of getting him, without having to deal with this random BS. So from the very start of the round, you want to close the distance, but do not get too close, because he will chop you up. All you want to do is get him against the fence, because when he's on a fence, you'll get an easy opening for a stab. Now you might be asking, how do I get him on a fence? Well, did you know that you can actually cancel pretty much any attack in the game? Yeah, I figured it out myself not so long ago. All you simply do is just swing your weapon when the enemy is about to attack. Like you see how he's backing up? That's exactly how you get him to walk into the fence. And here you go. You basically beat the game. You beat the hardest boss in the game. I'm not even lying. From here on, the game just becomes a breeze, because it's a totally broken weapon you can get. So you want to choose the yellow faction, which is by far the best one, because you get more stamina. And you want to get the infamous spear with spikes. And you're gonna play with this guy for the rest of the game. Now for this stage, it doesn't really matter what mode you play, it truly comes down to personal preference. Now before we continue the Gauntlet, there are some absolutely must-know tips that will carry you through the entire rest of the game. With this first tip, you're quite literally never gonna die to spears ever again. Basically, you can dodge any spear in the game without even trying, except the spiky spear. There's a nuance with that one, that we'll get to in a second. Now back to regular spears. To dodge those spears, you're gonna hold Shift, A, and W, which will help you dodge every single stab attack from the spear dudes. But you do gotta watch out for this one stance that they do. Once in a while, they'll just stand there, just circling you, which is also kinda easy to notice, but basically, they're just standing in the guard stance, which means they're gonna hit you every single time, for some unknown reason. And you get them out of that stance by simply doing the cancel attack strat, which is just swinging your weapon to bait them out. Now back to the dudes with the same weapon as you. Well, they're basically always in the guarding stance, so how do you fight them? You just want to keep attack cancelling until they throw this specific attack, where they will be exposed on the left side. Yep, that's right. That's exactly how you're gonna fight this next boss. Now 2 quick things before we fight the boss. With the spear that you have, you want to keep readjusting your camera right above their head, so you start getting more consistent headshots. Oh man, I know that was a lot, but now, I believe you have everything you need to know to beat the remaining bosses in the game. And yeah, like I've said before for this boss, all you gotta do is, you just keep attack cancel spamming until the boss does this specific move, where he opens up his ribs. This boss is also pretty easy. You just beat him like any other spear dude. Just keep holding Shift A and W, and then strike as soon as he tries to poke you. It is really that easy. Oh, and I recommend two-handing the weapon for this boss, because you're basically running straight into him. Now there ain't much to this baldy, you just gotta keep your distance, paired with the tip I gave you with the camera view and headshots. And yeah, there's not much to this boss, just don't get too close to him, cause he'll break your bones. Remember the previous boss with the spear? Yeah, it's the same dude, with some cake and some armor plates hiding it. What a weird dude. And yeah, you're right, you beat him the same way. You wait for the poke, dodge, and hit him on the side of the head. You're at home stretch. You only have one boss left, and he can actually be pretty tricky to kill. He's basically the bald boss, but way more aggressive and will tank headshots. But you fight him the same way. Just don't get too close. Keep doing the rubber movement of just hitting him and then backing off, and just aim for the headshots. That's all you can do. You just gotta be patient. That's the key to this boss. You did it! You can smell the throne of a Barone. You're so close, but just not quite there yet. You still gotta beat the Gold Brother. Now, not many people knew about this, but you do not have to play through the big arena. You can just go to the main menu and press play the demo. It will ask you to get more points, which will get 5 extra points per match, and then after you collected all the points, you just go back to the main menu and press play. It will then let you fight the final boss. Now for this final boss, you're gonna use everything you've been doing for the previous bosses. You're gonna use the spear dodge attack, paired with the rubber movement tech, and cancelling his attacks. Cause you gotta watch out for his overhead swing. That thing is brutal. Your goal here is to slip by his poke attacks and keep hitting him in the head. Now it might take a while because he's not gonna go down from one headshot. So once again, you gotta be patient. Patience is the key. Also, keep in mind that you have already reached the checkpoint, which means if you die, you won't have to restart all the way from the beginning. So here's a quick tip. If the final boss messes you up, do not hold G to give up. It is actually better to die to him instead of giving up, because if you give up, it's gonna ask you to get more points again. But when you die, it will just give you a prompt to fight the boss again. Hopefully, this guy was not too confusing to follow, because I'm not really good at this video stuff just yet. Nonetheless, thank you very much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, I would greatly appreciate if you can give me a sub and drop a like. Pretty please. And have fun beating the game. Good luck.